it's Elisa, Half Asian Tarot Queen. Oops. And guess what? It's time to do another drawing for the March giveaway. So we're giving away one free reading every week in March. So there's been 2 winners. We're about to pick another one. And then there's going to be one more after this. And also, this is a reading for the new moon in Aries that's happening. Okay, so this one, it's The Love Q, TJ the Lover. So if this is you, you just want a free reading. I should also note that there's a number of subscribers whose privacy settings sort of like preclude me being able to be aware of your subscribership. So yeah, if you're one of those people and you want to be entered in the drawing, you know, be sure to reach out and let me know, because I'm happy to enter anybody who, you know, wants to be in it. Okay. So on that note, I'm going to go forward with the new moon in Aries reading. It's interesting. There's been a lot of shifting happening, you know, with the coronavirus. Oh, weird. The coronavirus pandemic is having a lot of people staying home, and I think this is bringing up a lot of issues for people. And there's been like a lot that's been coming up in the readings about like love and personal relationships. So clearly some big shifts happening in that way. But like this new moon, it seems really in sync with what's going on in the world, because it's like all about well, Chiron, the wounded healer, you know, it's like healing karmic wounds, and it's just like sickness and healing and all this stuff is coming up to be healed, you know, which makes sense because there's like this global pandemic that's happening right now. So, you know, everybody's kind of like going inward and trying to like figure out what needs to be healed, you know. I mean, I think everyone's kind of looking inward right now, and this stuff is coming to the surface. So, and then there's like a lot with like karmic relationships that's coming around right now, because we're definitely like evaluating. I mean, it's like when you're like cooped up with the same people, and you know, you're not like busying yourself with work and other obligations. Like if there's a problem, you know, it's for sure going to come up. So, okay, so we had some extra cards that came up, but I'm gonna go with them because, oh my gosh. It's just like what I was just saying, you know, these 2 cards flopped out right when I was saying it, because I was just like, yeah, when you're cooped up with people at home, you can't really avoid it. Like things are going to come up. And then we got the wombat spirit, which is be at home, you know, which obviously we all are right now. And we got the bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. So yeah, we're all going through a rebirth. I mean, it's inevitable when you're just like home, you know, having to like confront yourself with yourself, you know. And then when we go to the mystical shaman, we got the wind, which, you know, this just came up, I feel like, in yesterday's reading. The blade. And completion. And this just came up a couple days ago. I'll have to link that reading. But so the wind, you know, this is obviously like about change is happening, you know. A rebirth is assured. And, you know, sometimes, I mean, with this card, it kind of speaks to a change, you know, and it being a challenging, because you're like having to face the wind, you know, you're having to face challenging parts about yourself, you know, and then that flows right into the blade, which is just sort of like, yeah, like having to confront like harsh truths and like cut away the slop, you know. It's just like we can't avoid it anymore. We can't like busy ourselves with like 20 gazillion things to do and run around and distract ourselves anymore, because, you know, we all have to stay home, and like this, you know, this is inevitable. If there's stuff that's not working, or there's like slop in the system, like we're gonna have to like cut that out, and then, you know, we get completion. So like in doing this process, you know, it's funny how these cards like they just match up so perfectly, you know. This sort of self-evaluation process from being at home, like inevitably we're going to enter into a new stage of life, and this, you know, the life as we knew it, it's gone. Like there's no going back to it. So this is like a big turning point with this new moon, you know. We're like healing these like long-standing like wounds, or, you know, this is a super huge opportunity to do that, you know, because a lot of times, especially with like deep emotional wounds and like the work that goes with that, it's just like, you know, it's real easy to distract yourself with work and all these other obligations, but like, and a lot of the time, you know, it's not convenient for that stuff to come up, you know, because it can be really taxing and emotional, and, you know, but like it's sort of like the universe is sitting all of us down and making us deal with our crap, you know. I mean, that's what's going down right now. So I'm gonna pull from the Wild Unknown Tarot to get the overall energies, but at the bottom of this deck we got the Ace of Swords. So yeah, the truth, like it cannot be avoided. Like it's just, you know, it's time to deal with what's what's not working. So, you know, this is can be good, you know, to like simplify and clarify our lives, you know, because it is really easy to get distracted with stuff that doesn't mean anything to us, you know, or but you know, it's like when you go back and look at your life at the end of your life, you know, it's just like you don't want to like look back at it and it's just like you've just busied yourself with a bunch of stuff that didn't mean anything to you, right? I mean, and in order to be like really successful, you know, we got to align our passions with, you know, our actions, and that's how we're going to reach our abundance and our success, you know. And so this is a moment that's like bringing us into alignment. So this is a good thing, you know, but it can be like painful to deal with these issues too. So it's not easy, but you know, this is a perfect moment. So this is what's meant to be right now. So we've got the Mother of Cups, Death, and we got the World. So this is beautiful. We're getting a lot of double messages here. And it's all about, you know, cutting out the slop and ushering in a new cycle. Like we are healing the stuff that's not serving us, you know. And so, and it seems like, you know, with this Mother of Cups, a lot of that has to do with what's going on here, you know, with our relationships and our heart center. And we're healing these deep emotional wounds that have maybe been blocking us, you know. We're healing those wounds that have been blocking us from being who we want to be, so that we can enter into a new cycle in life. So this is actually, you know, kind of beautiful. I mean, I think the positive take on the coronavirus pandemic is that it's like giving us all the opportunity, like in yesterday's reading about karma, I was talking about how our ancestors are wanting us to not learn, you know, make the same mistakes. They want us to learn from their mistakes so that we can go forward, you know, and evolve. I'm pulling out the White Sage Darrow, which is my Minneapolis deck, which I love, with the beautiful artwork. At the bottom, we have the Page of Cups, which this came out in a reading a few days ago, and it was so cute. And it was actually, I feel like that reading's relevant because it was about this, this love that was trying to come online, but there was like, and I feel like it was like this like player type of person. And, you know, he was just like so smooth, and like he had like all these ladies wrapped around his finger, but then he like had like been confronted with like sort of like a love, and and the Page of Cups came up, like he was like scared, you know, like he was scared of his feelings, you know, like he was super smooth, you know, but then like, I don't know, like he was kind of being confronted with his feelings, you know, which is sort of what this whole reading is about. It's just like, recentering and healing our hearts. So I'm going to pull a couple cards from this deck for some general energies of this reading. Oh, wow. Interesting. And then, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I feel like all of this is like leading in so elegantly into this new moon, you know? It's just like we've had all this, you know, this week, so much shifting and changing, and now everyone's at home, and like, you know, it's inevitably causing like a huge change in the collective consciousness. But it's, you know, it's like I want to focus on the positive part of that change, because it's like there's a lot of upheaval that's going along with it too, and it's pretty tough, you know. Okay, so we got the King of Swords, the Tower, and we got the Nine of Wands. So yeah, this is all about what's going down, you know. This King of Swords, this is a no-nonsense king. He's just sort of like cutting through the slop. You know, last night with my mom, we watched The Last Samurai, and it's sort of like, you know, the samurai, where it's just like, you know, there's no slop in the system. Like, that's, you know, the samurai is dedicated to like completely like cutting all of that out and like being in flow with their destiny, you know. I mean, that's the way of the samurai, right? So that's, you know, that's what we're doing here. We're like cutting all this slop out, and this is causing like a huge Tower moment, like huge shakedown, like a shakedown moment. We had a reading about that the other day, and a huge transformation that's like underway. And so it's just sort of like, we got the Nine of Wands. So that's the Wounded Warrior card, where it's just like, you've been beaten and bruised. You're going through this battle. Like, this is a huge upheaval, and it's just like, we're like exhausted, you know, but like, we're almost to the end of this cycle, you know, like, we're at the 9, so there's like one more to go before like we just like drop all these wands, you know, and start over. And then on the next row we have the Page of Wands, we have the Ten of Swords, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is kind of like a new spark. It's like we're cutting all this slop out. We're operating from our heart center, and this is causing like a new inspiration. Like, we're starting to see things from a new perspective. And like, next we have the Ten of Swords, which I feel like this came up in yesterday's reading too, and it's just like an end of suffering. It's just like We can't deny it anymore. Like, the change is happening. There's a transformation underway, and there's just, you know, there's just no denying it. Like, the old cycle and the old way of doing things just doesn't work anymore. Like, we have to adapt and we have to change, you know. And so it's just like, and then we get the Nine of Pentacles, which is, that's kind of like the swinging singles card, you know. It's just like you're independent, you're on your own, you don't need to follow anyone else's rules. And, you know, like, this is kind of like, I always think, you know, liken it to the Frank Sinatra song, like, I did it my way. Like, you're in your power and you're like financially independent and you're doing your own thing, you know. And so, like, it's like this new inspiration. We've like cleared out all the slop. We've let go of all the stuff that's not working for us, and now we're kind of stepping into a whole new frontier, like on our terms, you know, which is a good thing. Like, we fought through all of this emotional turmoil, but like on the other side of that is a whole new world, you know, on our, and like living life on our terms, which is a good thing. Like, it's worth all the tumult and the work that's, you know, needing to be done leading up to that. So I'm going to pull 3 cards of guidance back from the wild unknown, because this is like, whoop, there's one. Oh, that one came up yesterday, I think. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, this is okay. And then at the bottom, we've got the Hermit. You know, we're all kind of taking a moment for ourselves. We've got the 4 of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands, and we've got the 7 of Wands. So this is some tough stuff, you know. This 4 of Pentacles is kind of like a card of hoarding, and it's just sort of like, you know, you're just like trying to stop the loss from happening. So you're just trying to hang on to what you have, you know, but actually that's like making it worse, because like in order to like heal all this stuff, like you're going to have to like let it go into the universe, and you have to be in your flow. So like just like being self-protective and like trying to hold on to what you know, like that's just going to like prolong the suffering, even though that's kind of like what our instinct is, you know. It's our instinct to do that, but it's actually not. You want to be like intentional about like not having that reaction. I'm going to read the wild unknown interpretation of this card, just because the 4 of Pentacles first suggests material gain and stability, only good news for your bank account and home, yet underneath the surface, this is a card of warning. Do not become possessive or controlling. Holding on too tightly to the material world will leave you rigid, stagnant, and displeasing to others. Wealth is a concept. So yeah, like it's all about, you know, being in your flow. And like also at this time of big flux, like don't just base all your moves on like finances, because, you know, ultimately that's not like stability that has longevity. Because if your heart's not in it, like ultimately it's gonna be not built on a solid foundation. It's gonna come crumbling down later. So that's like I think, you know, something to be conscious about, you know, because that's a man-made construct. Like that's not built on nature, you know. So it's just like, you know, honor what your heart has to say. Like that's why this whole shakedown is happening in the first place, is because we're healing that, you know. So don't just go for your like self-preservation reaction and like block your heart, you know. It's like it's not the right answer. Then we have the 5 of Wands. So this is a card of like conflict and resistance, you know. And so, I mean, that makes sense, because we're having this huge transformation in this tower moment, and like we're ending like all this suffering, you know. And there's going to be a lot of chaos, and there's going to be a lot of conflict, and there's going to be a lot of resistance, and there's going to be people that are like not happy that this change is happening, you know. Like it's not going to be easy, you know. But it's like, if you want to get to this, If you want to get to the new beginning, you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight hard for it, and you're going to have to stand your ground. You're going to have to defend what's important to you, and you're going to have to know what that is, you know? So this card is inspiring you to, like, fight the good fight, you know, because it's worth it, you know? It's worth it, because you can get here. But you're not going to get there by, like, staying at home, and you're not going to get there by, like, just trying to stack your bank account, you know, at the expense of every other aspect of your life, you know? Like, you've got to take a holistic approach, you know? I mean, that's what the cards are saying. So I'm going to pull from the Moonology, because this is a new moon, the Aries new moon. And we'll see what... We got a couple moon oracle decks to finish out the reading. All right. Okay. The full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way, you know. You don't want to, like, build another, like, egocentric model of the new reality. Like, it's not about that. Like, you got to go deeper than that, you know. Connect to your heart, you know. Connect to your divine wisdom, because that's where the real answers are. So don't try to block that, because there's, like, some serious wisdom coming through there. So, like, you know, it's important to listen to it, because otherwise you're just going to build another shaky foundation that's going to get blown up later. And this is kind of like our chance. I mean, the reason why we're all at home is because we're all being inspired to build a new foundation that's more sustainable than that, you know? Like, that's why this is happening. Okay, I'm going to pull... Oh my gosh, interesting. I'm going to pull 2 from this Queen of the Moon Oracle. So, all right, so we got wisdom, you know, look within, connect to this wisdom, you know, because we're building a new foundation, and, you know, this is going to connect you to your ancestors and to your own wisdom, and don't ignore it. Like, this is an important message for you, and we all, you know, we all have to listen to our own wisdom with this. And then we got attraction, which is interesting, because the next moon this is a super moon card, and the next moon is the super moon, and it's the pink moon. So it's just like, if we can connect to this, you know, we're going to be attracted to a whole new world for the next one. All right. Yeah, I think it's the next full moon, and it's a full super moon, a super pink moon is the next one. So that's what we're working up towards. So good luck with that, and we'll check in soon.